يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا حبيب سلام عليك، صلوات الله عليك. يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا حبيب سلام عليك، صلوات عليك. يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا حبيب سلام عليك، صلوات الله عليك. يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا حبيب سلام عليك، صلوات الله عليك. رقت عيناي شوقا ولطيبة ذرفت عشقا، فأتيت إلى حبيبي فاهدأ يا قلب ورفقا، صلي على محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله، يا رسول الله. قلب بالحق تعلق وبغار حراء تألق، يبكي يسأل خالقه فأتاه الوحي فأشرق. اقرأ اقرأ يا محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله، يا رسول الله. يا طيبة جئتك صبا لرسول الله محبا، بالروضة سكنت روحي وجوار الهادي محمد. يا طيبة جئتك صبا لرسول الله محبا، بالروضة سكنت روحي وجوار الهادي محمد. السلام عليك يا والشوق طال والقلب سما نحو السماء مترنما لا تنقضي أنت للروح دواء رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان رمضان ليتك دوما قريب فيك الحب زاد عم العباد يا خير زاد رمضان يا شهر القرآن فيك أذوق حلاوة الإيمان لا تنقضي أنت للروح دواء رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان رمضان ليتك دوما قريب كم أهواك يا شهر
Belum ada namanya siapa? Check. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us proceed with the next agenda. Let me check the third speaker, Professor Shuti Sep Kumalo from University of South Africa. Are you hearing me? Belum ada.
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. Yes, hello, Prof. Humalo. Well, let me say hello, Prof. Humalo. Hello, good morning. I know in South Africa it is still at 7 a.m. So I'd like to say good morning to you, Prof. Humalo. Is my voice clear? Itu tadi yang nyaut bukan Prof. Ini, boleh.
Let me see. Hello, colleagues. Big problem. Yeah, okay, unmute.
Cek Prof. Humalo.
Hello.
Hello, Prof. Humalo. Can you
How are
hear
you?
my voice?
Sorry?
Yes, let us wait your picture, your photo.
Okay.
Can you, yeah, thank you, Prof.
Hello.
Humalo. Hello, say hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello, Prof. Humalo. Is my voice clear, Prof? Good
Sorry?
morning in South Africa.
Yes.
We
I'm
are
from
we are
South
here at
Africa.
1 p.m., Prof. So as the estimate time, we know that in South Africa it is still at 7 a.m. morning. So good morning, Prof. It is a great honor to have you in our conference, the second international conference on Islamic education and instruction.
Yes.
Yes, Prof. Can you hear my voice? So, Prof, we will.
Sorry?
Yeah. So we are going to hear your presentation. Are you ready?
Yes. I will. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. So
Can you
your
hear me?
presentation will be about towards cocktail leadership, mixed in challenging and disruptive educational contexts. Is it
Yes.
true? Well, thank you, Prof. Humalo. Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear the presentation of Professor Shuti Sep Kumalo, a professor in leadership and management education from the University of South Africa. Well, Prof, you have about 25 minutes to deliver your presentation. You may share your screen, and if you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me try to share. Right.
Sudah di host
You will tell me when my screen is visible, no?
Okay, we have set you as the co-host, so you can share your own screen by clicking at the green tumble or share screen. Oh, yes, yeah, yes.
Can you see that?
It is clear, Prof. You may start
Okay,
your
put
presentation.
it on
Thank you.
presentation mode. Can you see that?
Yes, clear.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much for giving me the. Let me start by apologizing because I had a speaker problem of my laptop. I don't know what happened, and I'm not that much a good person in technology, but I was able to also succeed. But also at the same time, I must indicate that the time zones I just woken up very early this morning because I was asking the difference, and I also did speak to Helda. I'm going to share on you the topic towards cocktail leadership mix in challenging and disruptive educational context. Program director, let me ask you that when my time is just about to expire, let me know so that I respect the time. My name, as indicated, is Professor Shuti Steph Kumalo. I'm a full professor at the University of South Africa, which is dubbed the University of the Land. As you see there, it is the head office. We've got many campuses internationally. And then I work at the main campus. And I'm going to speak on this topic, as I said, towards cocktail leadership mix in challenging, disruptive educational context. Now, this topic for me is very, very critical. It affects schooling system and post-schooling system. Universities are not spared. I'm interested in this because recently and in the past, we have experienced globally disruptions. We have experienced interruptions, which caught educational authorities snapping, which means most education systems were not ready. The recent one is COVID-19. Right? Let me introduce my speech by saying education, all of us know that it's critical to societal development and economy, especially related to the economy, social, personal growth, and cultural stability. The schooling and post-schooling system globally is characterized by sporadic disruptions, as I said before. These disruptions are unexpected interruptions that interrupt the educational schedules. In most cases, authorities are caught off guard. And these disruptions take different forms and range from global crises like pandemics to localized occurrences such as community unrest and natural disasters. Now, these disruptions manifest in different forms. They manifest in different shapes. One, for an example, we experience technology lapses or technology failures. There's energy crisis that is existing globally. Asia is not spared off. South Africa is not spared off. Africa is also affected. We have got socio-economic or hunger, which disrupt the education systems, staff absenteeism, weather-related closures, example, snowstorms, hurricanes, health crises, which force temporary or prolonged closures. We spoke about COVID, threats such as bomb scares, violence, evacuations, community protests, gangsterism, regional wars, and conflicts, and floods. I remember years back, I read floods that hit Indonesia, which were very devastating. Now, these disruptions, they've got serious ramifications on the education, including your university rector. And these ramifications, amongst others, impact on one, losing out on lessons and leading to curriculum gaps. Two, the effect of learning outcome levels from one grade to the next or from one program or course to the next. The assessment standards are compromised. It has got impact or the effect on the emotional stress for students and staff members, which are burnout. They end up being burnout and other stakeholders related to the education system, the higher education system, post-schooling system. And the basic schooling system is not left out. And then one of the effects or ramifications or the consequences are injustices that we see, the inequalities related to technology, related to other resources. For an example, places which have got access to technology, it is easy for them to have catch-up programs. How do they navigate these disruptions? But what about places which are very poor, which do not have access to these things? The ramifications also can be the post-disruptions of schools or post-schooling centers as resource hubs for communities. Remember, there's an echo. Sorry, thanks. Increased dropout, because once there are disruptions, the schooling system comes to and stands still. For an example, during COVID, there's been a lot of closures globally. And therefore, those who are not well off to do, they are at the receiving end. Those who do not access to technological advances, they do not have access. But I know that Asia is in advance in terms of some of the technological issues as compared to us in Africa, the continent. But in the main, it doesn't mean everybody in the continent of Asia is having access to that. Now, why towards the cocktail leadership mix? Why must we have the kind of leadership that is different, that will be able to be equal to the task, the leadership that will be able to navigate the challenges that are faced by the disruptions? I argue that the rise and fall of every organization rests squarely on leadership. Educational leadership is important. I always argue that organizations and government does not necessarily suffer from resources, but the challenge, the biggest problem is leadership. Just as cocktails can be made by mixing different spirits and flavors, leaders can blend various styles to suit their team's needs in order to navigate the challenges. Understanding these disruptions and their ramifications is crucial and requires a brand of educational leadership that can navigate these uncharted waters. Once, for an example, the wars that are ravaging parts of the world, you've got war in Palestine, you've got war in Israel, war in Russia, war in Ukraine. It needs the type of leadership that will be able, in educational systems, that will be able to navigate the challenges. How then do we do that? It requires a robust and adaptable leadership to steer the ship in turbulent times. This changing, challenging, and dynamic context present a pointed and a critical question that requires scientific inquiry, which is, what type of brand of leadership in educational contexts is required to help navigate the unprecedented and parallel current and future educational dynamics? Now, cocktail leadership mix was first conceptualized by a Professor Pashiadis, and in his framework, Pashiadis' Buckman Holistic Leadership Framework. Even though educational leadership does not have control over the events causing disruptions and do not have resources or budget to mitigate, but they have a choice on how they respond. During this trying time, schools, universities, not only schools, the post-schooling system, colleges, TVET colleges, universities, and need leadership that is dynamic, that is agile, that is resilient, that is socially just and digitally smart. There is no adequate leadership training to prepare leadership for such eventualities. Now, I'm going to address you on the 4 pertinent and essential cocktail leadership approaches that I argue that are needed in the mix to navigate the space or the challenges. The first one is the strategic agile leadership. The second leadership is resilience leadership. The fourth one we know is technology leadership. And then the fourth one is social justice leadership, which is part of my niche area, social justice. Now, let me start with social justice leadership. Why social justice is needed during times of challenges? Because as leaders, during those times, you manage traumatized communities. You manage staff members who are hurt by a number of disruptions, from family, lose of lives, and quite a number of things. Let me give an example. For instance, if there is peace tomorrow between Israel and Palestine, tomorrow there's peace, for an example, and then Palestine, then schooling system must then, post-schooling system and universities must then continue to function. You need a leader who understands justice principles. Leadership that is underpinned by equity, fairness, inclusivity, empathy, and sympathy. During such times of uncertainty, educational communities are traumatized. All stakeholders, including both subordinates and leadership, even university leadership, will be traumatized. Therefore, they also need to be understood And therefore, social justice must not be one way, it must be both ways, towards leadership and towards subordinates. Scholars such as Nancy Fraser, who's the advocate of social justice, speaks about redistribution, recognition, and representation. During times of turbulence, you need to recognize that people are hurt. You need to give them space and a representative space to air their voices, to speak their voices where they are heard. You need to redistribute, play around the technological equipment. How do we benefit, all of us, from the technological equipment, from their resources? During these times, social justice leadership is characterized by equity, advocacy, and continuous improvement. And then you require leadership that is proactive in addressing disparities. Leadership that empowers all members of the school, the educational community. And leadership that expresses confidence in followers. Leadership that is able to, despite the challenges, preach hope, speak message of hope. Now, the second leadership style that I'm addressing you on, which is in the mix, a cocktail mix, is resilient leadership. Because resilience is very important during times of adversity. If organizations, universities are not resilient, they will much be buried in the midst of the challenges that they are facing, and difficult to come out and recover and bounce back and focus on the agenda of the academic agenda. Resilience is to be flexible in circumstances of difficulty or distress to which the organization faces. It is the ability of leaders to adapt, to recover, and thrive in the face of challenges and adversity. Resilience is characterized by problem solving, ethical maturity, compassion, self-confidence, and social support. When the leader is not resilient, when the leader is found wanting in times of calamity, in times of adversity, in times of problems, then think about subordinates, they will be finished. Social support, leadership that will extend the hand and support those who are traumatized, those who are found wanting. Crisis can also put your work pressures in perspective, redistributing your time and energy in ways that are most important, and reprioritization. When calamity strikes, as a leader, what is your resilience tank? The amount of fuel in this tank is the raw material you have to draw on to propel you through the storm, to safeguard your ground, personal efficacy and personal energy. Let me further say this. Everybody is a leader in his own space. Whether you are a lecturer in the classroom, whether you are occupying a space, because this 360-degree leadership speaks about a leader from any space. We've got different levels of leadership. Therefore, this does not necessarily speak to university leadership. It cuts across from all areas of responsibility. Now, the resilience capacity, I ask a question: what is your resilience tank? You need to have, Patterson and Keller speaks about your personal values are very critical in times of challenges. Your core values, your educational values, what you stand for as an individual, such as ethical principles, trust, fairness, and citizenship and compassion. It's important that despite the challenges, that during disruptions, scholars speak about VUCA, the volatility, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous times. What are your core values? What do you believe in? You believe in bouncing back. You believe that you'd want to fight back. You believe in compassion and all those things. Educational values. What do you value as a leader? Do you value all students achieving despite the adversity?
Excuse me.
Sorry?
Excuse me, Prof.
Sorry?
Khumalo, you have 3 minutes left for the presentation. Thank you.
Sorry?
You have 3 more minutes for the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Then let me rush to 3 minutes. Let me rush to, I'll share the slide with you. Let me rush to the third agility leadership. Leadership agility is the ability to make smart and effective decisions in a rapidly changing world. It's being able to anticipate the best ways to go forward, knowing the best ways to inspire your team, turning thoughts and ideas into actions, and evaluating results of success and failures. Leadership agility is not one simple skill, but rather it's a combination of a lot of skills. Now, agility is to do with extraordinary competitiveness. Very important that leadership during the times of calamity must be able to recruit rare breed of competitive staff members, not just mediocrity. The strategic leadership agility, operational agility, and leadership agility is very critical. The final one is leveraging leadership through artificial intelligence. We know that technology revolution has transformed the global education system. I know that the next speaker will be addressing this in depth, but the push for artificial intelligence in organizations cannot be underestimated. And this scholar posits that the question is not whether artificial intelligence will play a role, but what is critical is whether it will still play a role. The challenging and changing dynamics require that leadership lead from a distance and be creative. And technology, we all know that it assists in decision-making, curriculum development, refinement, planning, assessment, teacher professionalism, professional development. And leveraging artificial intelligence in educational context during unplanned disruptions, it will assist us to do predictive analysis so that we are able to plan for the future, to trim the curriculum in order to recover, to conduct personal student performance analysis, and to develop and tailor individualized learning packages without compromising learning outcomes. It also assists in using to diagnose learning and curriculum gaps caused by disruptions and develop fit-for-purpose intervention strategies, a creation of virtual learning classrooms, and content development. And with this, colleagues, I just want to thank you. And then, like I promised, I'll share the slide with Heldi. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Prof. Khumalo from University of South Africa. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, well, Prof, thank you for your presentation. It is very valuable insight for us to talk about leadership and also the integration of technology in our education. Well, Prof, now we are going to have question and answer section. So our participant will deliver several questions. I'm going to take notes for you and later you may answer the question. Is it clear, Prof?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, yes,
like I
audience,
said, I might have a little bit.
Question, please.
Yes, it's fine. And then it's okay. I will explain if I can hear.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, there is a participant that wants to ask you about the material that you present. Please, Mbak. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the presentation, and I have a question. Firstly, my name is Elista from State Islamic University Raden of Surakarta. My question is, from your mentoring, how do you see description in Africa, maybe also from Indonesia that you know? I might want to be more specific in the education sector if you like. I just want to compare the educational culture in Africa, more especially in your environment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak. Thank you very much for your question. Prof, do you hear the question? If not, let me repeat. Let me repeat the question.
Yes, please repeat.
In a short way,
Yes,
in
please
a
repeat
short
it
words,
for me.
and in a very succinct sentence. So, Prof, she asked that how do you see the disruption in this era in the field of education, especially education in South Africa, and how it is related with the context of Indonesia, according to your opinion and your experience of teaching. Is it clear, Prof?
Yeah, I'm struggling to hear, but
Is my question clear?
yeah, my speaker is sorry.
Is my question clear? Is the question clear? Let me
Yeah, the
repeat.
question
Let me
is
repeat.
about.
Let me repeat with the slow intonation and with the very succinct words and sentences. So, Prof, the question is, how do you see the disruption era today in the context of education in South Africa, and how it is related to Indonesian context of education according to your opinion and your teaching experience? Is it clear, Prof?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
a bit of it. I'll try to respond. South Africa, we are experiencing a number of educational disruptions. Currently, as we speak now, we do have, yesterday I was watching the news where one school banned completely. It banned completely the whole school, and it is now examination for matric. Matric is grade 12, the exit from high school into university. Secondly, South Africa is experiencing energy crisis. After the elections, they are trying to deal with energy crisis, where there was a lot of load shedding which was happening. South Africa is also experiencing floods in the areas like KwaZulu-Natal, one province in KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape, where bridges are destroyed, where schools are destroyed completely. South Africa is also experiencing in Cape gangsterism, and therefore those things have got a serious impact on the education system. But the government has decided to be proactive and try to create temporary structures where education system is taking place. But I must add this, because these places are rural villages. There's a technological problem. There's access to technology is very bad. The network is also not functional. It's interrupted. Therefore, we are finding challenges, and as a result of that, it has got serious implication on the educational outcomes. And therefore, students or educational what you call schools and universities that are in places that are good are doing better than those who are in the rural villages. Therefore, these disruptions are having a very serious impact on the education system in our country. It's very serious. And then in not only South Africa, but Africa in general. I spoke about technology, I spoke about other things. But then the issue of leadership is also, it's very problematic, because you do not have in some places leadership that is equal to the task, leadership that is resilient, leadership that is agile. So I'm not having experience with Indonesia that much, but I know that at some point you experience floods and you also have got your own challenges. Therefore, it will be good of me to learn certain things from you. Thank you. If I've tried to hear the answer, and I'm very sorry for my speaker problem. I tried to put the earphones, but they're not doing good for me. Great.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Humalo. It is a clear answer, and we hope it can contribute to the development of education both in University of South Africa and also here for us in Indonesia. Prof, due to the time, it is the end of your presentation. We would like to say thank you very much for giving your valuable time and also material to present in our conference. Hopefully, we can meet again. We can invite you again in the next opportunity or in the next event. Prof. Humalo, thank you very much for the committee. We are going to deliver a certificate for you, Prof. Just see in the screen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, here it is, Prof. Once again, on behalf of the committee and on behalf of the Faculty of Tarbiyah UIN Raden Masaid Surakarta, Indonesia, we would like to say thank you very much for your contribution and your material delivered in our conference today. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, and see you in the next time. Thank you, Prof. Sutistep Kumalo from University of South Africa. Please give applause for him.
Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the last but not least speaker is Dr. Howard Scott from the University of Wolverhampton, England. But in this occasion, the presentation from Dr. Howard Scott will be guided by Dr. Irfan. So for this session, I'm going to say thank you, and I do apologize if I have a mistake in guiding you for this presentation in this conference today. Thank you very much. Dr. Irfan, the time is yours.
Okay, hello everyone and hello Howard. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Before your presentation, I would like just a brief introduction about you to our attendants. And what I said before, this is conference, international conference, and it's going hybrid, remotely and in his room. Yeah. Okay. Before your turn, I will read briefly about your bio. So everyone, Dr. Howard Scott is an expert in technology enhanced learning. He is a senior lecturer in University of Wolverhampton, Faculty of Education in Wolverhampton, United Kingdom. So he also has many experiences and many projects, including British Council Newton funded workshop in Nairobi, Kenya, and many things, including about EI. So our speaker, Howard, will deliver about the impact and benefit of using AI in education. So now is your turn. So you might give your presentation about 20 minutes, and it's yours, and we open dialogue maybe for 10 minutes for 2 or maximum 3 questions. Okay, this is yours, please, Howard.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, and I hope you can hear me okay. I'll have to be quick to go through for 20 minutes, but yes, actually my background is in vocational education in England, and my job for the most part is as a lecturer in teacher education. So we are training teachers, but I also have a research role which involves technologies, and clearly artificial intelligence is a major part of what's affecting education today. So I try to start with questions around, sort of basics. I've done this presentation over variations of this presentation to teachers and to researchers several times. So I think we can trace artificial intelligence back to 1956 and the Dartmouth workshop, which was started at the college in the USA, where they coined the term artificial intelligence. And this was conceived by a number of different people, including educational psychologists, computer scientists, behavioral psychologists, and they came together, and this quote is quite famous to represent what their project was about, and this is where the term artificial intelligence started. So it's quite out. It's from 1956, and the parts in bold in the quote there, I think, are very important. The study of artificial intelligence proceeds on the basis that every aspect of learning or any feature of intelligence can be precisely described. A machine can be made to simulate it, and an attempt will be made to find out how to make machines use language, form abstracts and concepts, and solve problems now reserved for humans and improve themselves. In other words, the pioneers, if you like, of this thing called artificial intelligence approached it with this in mind. They wanted to create something that would mimic or imitate intelligence, human intelligence, act in a similar way. 2 years ago, a book came out about the ethics of artificial intelligence that shows how far we've come, really, that we're now much more concerned with the kind of ethics that surround the problems of artificial intelligence. And this is a quote from that book that says, if we can express the formula, we can teach the machines the formula. This not only benefits the advance of artificial intelligence, but also primes students to be replaced. In other words, what the first concept from 1956 was suggesting was that there was a formula to human intelligence that could be designed into machines, computers, robots, and we're starting to see this now, I think, in some very crude format. And this has led to concerns in education about possibly what we call automation, because if you can program something to work like a teacher, if you can give it the formula of intelligence through algorithms, then we can possibly replace teachers. But this researcher Trevor Arness also raises the question that if you can teach the robots to do the work of teachers, then why do we even need students? This is a deeply existential problem that we have. So here's my quote here. I don't think there is a simple formula to teaching and learning. So I think it's foolish for us to think that we can reduce everything down to simple formulas that imitate the way that human beings teach and what intelligence even is, because we are really still unsure what human consciousness is, I think. But for context, I also talked about this question. So why artificial intelligence now? Obviously, we've heard a lot about it in the last 3 years with the rise of big platforms in the West. And often I show my students this graphic. My students are teachers working in vocational education. So I think it's important for them to understand the history of economy as as it has changed, and certainly in the West and in Europe, our economies are still something of the past. And you can see here the numbers. We call it the fourth industrial revolution today, and Britain was probably the pioneer of the first industrial revolution before, the kind of maneuver towards America and the great kind of factory lines that mass produced consumption and consumer items before a shift towards kind of East Asia, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, the microchip, changed the types of technologies that we used. And then we're in this kind of fourth industrial revolution now that's characterized by things like robotics, artificial intelligence, of course, the Internet of Things, cloud computing, chatbots, all this kind of thing that sort of points towards technology having a more important role in our lives and taking over many of the tasks and roles that we have given us. And this applies to education, not just employment, but of course education is preparing people for future employment in many ways. So artificial intelligence has become to have this kind of hype around it. It's often said, to be a power tool, to accelerate the way that we do things in education. Other people have predicted that there'll be a huge loss of jobs in the future, not just blue collar jobs as we call them, trade and skilled jobs, but also jobs in the knowledge economy. For example, this research report predicts that 80% of educational jobs could be threatened by artificial intelligence in the next sort of 20 to 25 years. And here's a quote from B. Esther, who's one of our great educational researchers, and he asks a very profound question here about the impact of education. It's forcing us to think, well, what is education actually for? What are we doing it for? It's maybe no longer, true to say that it will develop people for jobs. In fact, we might need to reimagine what education is for if we're going to be replaced in the future by robots who work for us. A very Western point of view, anyway. So what is artificial education in its present form? And I would characterize it by these things. We talk about the metaverse, kind of a different dimension where things happen. You can put masks on, you can interact in different environments, there's 3D holograms. Then you have things like content creation, so information that is created by machines, by algorithms that pose as humans. Actually, we see that on social media all the time, and it makes us question what's true, what credibility knowledge has. That's being produced today. As I said before, automation, that is, robots, chatbots, taking over maybe the place of teachers. As we've seen through COVID, many students having to be more self-directed during pandemic lockdowns or refugee crises in wars. Their access to education is much more self-directed. So the solution to that, according to technology problems, technology companies, the solution to that problem is to provide chatbots, robots, or interfaces that help self-directed learning. More simulations, more facial recognition software, your camera in your computer, reading your face, looking for cues, for confusion or understanding, brain reading technology. And then I think this is the most important one here, the potential for learning analytics. This word, I think whenever we're talking about artificial intelligence, we always need to come back and remember the importance of this word data, the data that improves learning experiences. We all produce data. We're producing it now while I'm on Zoom. Something is recording me, something is listening to me, it's recognizing my voice, it's training something about the words I'm using, it's training something about the facial cues that I'm giving it. So the next sort of movement, I think, is what we call neurotechnology, things that are able to map the brain, read what the brain is doing, understand the brain, improve our memorization, our ability to cause and create memories. There are massive affordances with this, advantages.
Okay, Howard, can you make it more? But you just have 3 minutes again to deliver your presentation.
3 minutes, okay.
Okay.
So, well, maybe I'll stop here. So how will artificial intelligence impact on education? I would say better quality data. If we have better quality data, that will give us insights into students' behaviours and actions. This will improve our kind of one-to-one support that we can give to students. Again, the use of chatbots, perhaps this will allow teachers to be more free to support students who need extra help, extra time. We'll be able to diagnose, analyse students' learning needs, learning speed can be accurately identified by kind of diagnostics and learning analytics. So that we can differentiate learning tasks. This is kind of the hype promise of artificial intelligence, but I think it is possible as well. We can provide a much more personalised learning experience. My last slide really is more important. I want to emphasise this, that it's very important that we remember that learning and education is a social experience, and that we have to push back some of the corporate commercial disruption of education, because it's accompanied by so much hype and promise and potential that often doesn't fulfill our expectations. We should remember that learning, includes mistakes, it's accidental, it's very individual, it's a very social experience. We use our intuition, and learning is imperfect, it's diverse, it's collaborative, and it's human, and all of those things are rich definitions of learning. So that's really where I would finish. There's a list of some of the references from the presentation. Sorry, I thought I had more time, so
Okay.
very quick.
Yeah. Thank you, Howard. Sorry, but the time is so short. You may not enjoy to explore anything. But today we will continue about the discussion, and we will continue to interactive dialogue. Maybe there is one question. Maybe please, anyone want to ask you, Howard? Okay, anyone? Okay, please, anyone? Okay, yeah, please. Yeah, we have a question, Howard. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, Dr. Howard Scott. Good afternoon here from Indonesia. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ayu Andrianingsi from Jenaragita Buddhist College of Lampung. My simple question, so you are talking about AI, right? Yeah, Pak.
Yeah.
Yes. So in my college, so I teach in English. So many of my students cannot hide from AI. Can you give me a tips so my students will not only copy paste from the results of AI? That's all. So because right now that we are in the digital era, so we cannot hide from that kind of digitalizations. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
very
please.
good. Thank you. It's a good question. this is the kind of challenge I think artificial intelligence has created for us. And I would say two or three things. One, I think, if artificial intelligence can produce better responses than our students, then firstly we should systematically think about changing our assessment methods, because I think that's possibly shows the vulnerabilities or the problems in our assessment processes. So maybe today's assignments are not the way forward. Maybe they're not appropriate anymore in the 21st century. Secondly, I have this problem as well, by the way, and I talk about it straight away, and I say to my students, learning is difficult. Learning is a collaborative experience, not a competition. And if you think that the AI can do a better job than you, you're mistaken. I think that you will always produce a better result than the artificial intelligence. So I think it's about conversation, to be honest, at the start. You could use artificial intelligence, but why would you want to? What's the point of being here? But education is an opportunity to think about things, to grow and to develop. So I think there's something of an argument or a conversation to have with our students and to remind them what the values of learning are. And I think that's where we have to start, really. I think there are also ways around, but we do have to change the way that we assess knowledge and skills to make them more GPT-proof, let's say. But the first thing is just to say, why would you want to do that? You spend a lot of time coming to my lessons. I spend a lot of time preparing them. I hope you find it a joyful challenge to take the risk of learning. I hope that answers the question. It's
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good. Because what to highlight it, because we can deny about the AI, but honestly, we can try to conversation more, and to be honest, student has to try many things for his learning. Okay, before closing, do you want to highlight something about this topic? Last, what you say as the closing statement about this topic.
Sorry, me, myself?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would go back to, sorry, if you can still see my slides. Oops. I think it's really this, like the most important thing is that we have to, try to challenge everything that we're being sold. So, a lot of this is about corporations trying to take over education. This is the problem we face in Europe, and it may be the same in Indonesia. But certainly, the technology companies are trying to sell us something, often for problems that are not very well defined. So when you hear about solutions from technology companies, think about your local context and think, does this help me? Does this actually help at all? What's the cost in terms of the values? Because for every value that we have, there's a cost to it as well. It could be, teachers' expertise or changes that can't be replaced or reversed. So it's really important to try to understand what you're being sold, I think, because these are very, very powerful companies, and they want to change our systems, our public education systems, for commercial.
Okay. Thank you, Howard, for your presentation. Honestly, maybe in the next opportunity and next session, maybe we can more time and explore anything. Not only just 30 minutes, but maybe 2 hours. We can discuss about AI because I think this very relate to our condition, our teaching and learning, also our campus. We can deny about this using chat GPT or whatever kind of AI is very commonly, but I think this may be challenge and also giving impact opportunity, but also will treat us as a human to use AI or not. Okay. Yeah, we will give you the certificate. Okay. Yeah, as presenter and also speaker here. Okay, for the committee, please. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hart Scott, for your presentation as speaker in the second International Conference of Islamic Education and Instructor (HEI) 2024 held by Faculty of Education UIN Raden Mas at Surakarta. Again, many thanks for your time and sorry maybe you don't get your breakfast maybe because very early time for you. Okay. Again, thank you, Howard. See you later in another opportunity. Thank you. Okay. Give applause to Howard. Ya. Ya. Oke, terima kasih semuanya sudah bergabung dan bersama-sama pada plenary session. Thank you also Howard and speaker who come to deliver the presentation here. So now we move to parallel session and we will divide into 3. Okay. Okay. For the online, will join to parallel session. Please say in Zoom. And for the other presenter, Pak Hedi. Okay, please.
Teman-teman, di room ini adalah room 2 yang Indonesian session. Jadi yang 30 orang itu di room ini, yang English session di bawah di lantai 1. Jadi teman-teman silakan langsung bergeser. Di parallel session sudah ada petugas yang akan mendampingi Anda. Langsung saja ya Bang Irfan ya. Bang Irfan online. Online Bang Irfan kita siapkan room. Di sini Pak moderatornya Pak.
Okay, what if you have any time, you may join here. But if you have another job, you may leave here. The Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you again. Thank you very much, Howard.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Jadi masukin siapa?
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
May I know, because the time I have been allotted for the presentation is almost finished, but my presentation haven't started. May I know?
Still,
Excuse me, I didn't quite clearly hear you.
this time still break.
So when will the presentation session starts? I think it was around 1:40 Indonesian time.
The opening scene is overtime. So this time for break.
How
Maybe
many
we
more
can
minutes?
lighting. Berapa menit tadi, Pak? Mohon maaf untuk
Baik, bisa kita mulai ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Masih semangat? Saya ulang lagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma shalli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbi syrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidna ilma warzuqna fahmah. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Ada 32 presenter dalam grup ini. Nah, Bapak Ibu silakan mempersiapkan PPT yang akan digunakan untuk presentasi.
Yang berbahagia,
dan waktu untuk presentasi hanya 5 menit ya Bapak Ibu, jadi bisa memaksimalkan dengan baik.
Siang hari ini,
untuk presenter yang pertama, Bapak Ahmad Salim sudah hadir.
Parallel session, Indonesian session di ruang ini terdiri dari ada 30 peserta, ada 30 peserta untuk di room 2, yakni di room ini. Baik, segenap peserta, untuk sesi ini nanti masing-masing mempresentasikan diberikan waktu 5 menit saja ya. 5 menit saja instruksi dari Bapak Dr. Heldi, masing-masing 5 menit tanpa ada sesi tanya jawab dikarenakan nanti sore itu penutupan juga kembali ke ruang ini. Semua peserta akan kembali ke ruang untuk penutupan, maka dari itu untuk sesi ini masing-masing mempresentasikan papernya, namun diberikan waktu cukup 5 menit. Jadi disiapkan untuk flash disknya yang isinya adalah PPT yang sudah disiapkan, langsung dikasihkan ke saya, nanti sesuai dengan nomor urut. Terus kemudian akan saya tayangkan dan silakan untuk mempresentasikan. Seperti itu bisa difahami. Monggo kita awali dengan bacaan basmalah bersama-sama. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Baik, untuk presenter yang pertama atas nama Ahmad Swadikin. Hadir, kita berikan aplaus untuk Mas Ahmad Swadikin.
Okay, now we will begin. In every single presenter have to present just 5 minutes. Then you just speak little about background directly into discussion and finding. So because it's time is so limited, so the question and answer, and we will place into the last session. Okay, so the first speaker or the first presenter, I ask you and I deliver to Hazrat Kayan from Afghanistan, from Khurasan University. The topic is community-based education program in Afghanistan, study provide quality of education into provinces. Okay, time is your hazard, but again, please be aware, 5 minutes directly.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan nama saya Ahmad Swadikin.
Sorry. Thank you so much for the acceptance of my paper in your conference. Let me share my screen. As we have got only 5 minutes.
Evaluasi penerapan kurikulum merdeka dalam meningkatkan kreativitas belajar siswa SMP dan SMA
so my name is Hazrat Sakain and I work as a educational researcher and lecturer at Khurasan University.
Karena memang
so today I have brought you an issue of community-based education in Afghanistan. It is an informal way of education, but before we go for that, let me give you a historical lenses of education in Afghanistan. We have got like so many periods of educational shifts in the country. As you can see on the screen that there have been the religious education or madrasa were dominant before the 20th century, but 20th century were somehow giving rise to modern education and selective education. And as well as the last 2 decades were more into war and education and rebuilding modern education in the country. So in Afghanistan, rural areas we still have not sufficient access to education.
Para peneliti hanya meneliti di satu sekolah saja tanpa mempertimbangkan perbedaan penerapan antara siswa yang beda tingkatan usia antara SMP dan SMA. Yang kelima, perbedaan penerapan tingkat kurikulum ini pada tingkat SMP dan SMA sebagaimana yang telah saya jelaskan tadi. Yang keenam, itu hanya berfokus pada capaian akademik. Jadi penerapan kurikulum merdeka atau kurikulum-kurikulum sebelumnya hanya berfokus pada capaian akademik tanpa memperhatikan kreativitas belajar siswanya. Slide selanjutnya. Tujuan penelitian ini yang pertama, mengevaluasi penerapan kurikulum merdeka dalam meningkatkan kreativitas belajar siswa di SMP dan SMA Kecamatan Belo. Yang kedua, menggali bagaimana kebijakan tersebut diterapkan Yang
Bapak
ketiga,
Ibu presenter
bagaimana
silakan mempersiapkan
guru dan siswa
PPT-nya.
itu merespon
Setiap
perubahan
presenter
kurikulum.
Diberikan waktu 5 menit.
Selanjutnya
untuk
yang keempat,
memaparkan
itu
isi dari
bagaimana
penelitian.
proses belajar mengajar
Langsung kita mulai,
diatur
Bapak Ibu.
untuk mendorong
Untuk
kreativitas
presenter yang
belajar siswa.
pertama, Bapak Ahmad
Selanjutnya,
Salib
metode
sudah
penelitian.
hadir.
Saya sebelumnya, metode penelitian. Dalam penelitian ini saya menggunakan kualitatif deskriptif dengan objek penelitian, yakni di SMP dan SMA sekecamatan Belu. Untuk pengumpulan datanya, saya menggunakan teknik triangulasi, yakni wawancara, dokumentasi, dan
Silakan
observasi.
Bapak Ahmad Fajri, waktunya 5 menit.
Untuk analisis datanya
hasil dari
dilakukan dengan interaktif dan keberlanjutan selama masa penelitian. Untuk memastikan validitas dan reliabilitas data, peneliti di sini menggunakan triangulasi sumber dan member checking.
Lihat ya. Oke,
Selanjutnya,
bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
untuk hasilnya, penerapan kurikulum merdeka di sekolah yang pertama, di sebagian sekolah di Kecamatan Belo, itu sudah menerapkan atau mengadopsi pembelajaran berbasis proyek.
Kombinasi dengan
Yang kedua,
prinsip agama dan
itu kreativitas siswa dalam proses pembelajaran. Karena sebagian besar sekolah di SMP dan SMA di Kecamatan Belo sudah mengadopsi pembelajaran berbasis proyek, maka
sektor ya,
ada
agama
jiwa-jiwa
yang
kreativitasnya tumbuh, ide-ide inovasinya tumbuh, tapi itu hanya pada sebagian sekolah, tidak merata di seluruh kecamatan. Yang ketiga, tantangan dalam penerapan kurikulum merdeka ini, sebagaimana yang telah disampaikan tadi, yang pertama tantangannya itu adalah di sebagian sekolah itu kurang bisa beradaptasi
dalam
dengan
konteks Indonesia, sebagaimana kita tahu
pembelajaran berbasis proyek.
Memiliki populasi
Yang kedua,
muslim terbesar di dunia,
guru-gurunya kurang pelatihan untuk lebih mengerti bagaimana kurikulum merdeka ini. Selanjutnya itu adalah
Islam dengan ajarannya menekankan pentingnya menjaga alam dan lingkungan.
Karena waktunya sudah selesai.
Untuk mendukung upaya
lebih dan kurangnya saya mohon maaf.
Tujuan dari
Saya tutup dengan membaca nun wal qalam yauma yasturun fastabiqul khairat albirru man ittaqa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Khususnya di Indonesia sendiri ya, dan menunjukkan potensi kontribusi
terima kasih Mas
dalam
Ahmad
mitigasi
Sadikin
perubahan iklim dan
atas
pelestarian
presentasinya.
lingkungan
untuk peserta semuanya kami harapkan cukup menyampaikan judul rumusan masalah terus hasil, sehingga jenengan bisa mengeksplor 4 menit itu untuk hasilnya apa yang jenengan temukan. Artinya matpen tidak usah disampaikan, tidak apa-apa, terus kemudian latar belakang singkat aja, jadi masalah apa inti, rumusan masalah apa, dan hasil penelitian sampean apa, seperti itu insya Allah 5 menit cukup gitu ya. Oke, terima kasih. Berikutnya kami persilakan kepada Saudari Faikotul Mala. Mana?
Teoris ini
Faikotul Mala.
Penelitian ini akan mengkaji literatur Islam klasik dan kontemporer
Berikutnya
yang
persiapan
dengan
untuk
pengelolaan lingkungan.
Saudara Fauzi An-Nur.
Membangun kerangka konseptual yang dapat memadu implementasi praktik ramah lingkungan di masjid-masjid Indonesia khususnya. Kemudian, nah dari situlah hasil dan diskusinya adalah bahwa kehalifahan Islam itu sangat mementingkan peran manusia sebagai penjaga bumi, khususnya dalam konteks pemeliharaan lingkungan yang berpusat di sekitar masjidnya. Nah, informasi ini memiliki potensi untuk mengubah masjid menjadi pusat untuk pendidikan.
Oke, kita berikan aplaus untuk Saudari Faikotul Mala.
Dari hasilnya saya menulis beberapa poin ya. Yang pertama adalah Khalifah as the basis for environmental
pada hari
stability.
ini saya akan mempresentasikan paper saya yang berjudul Soft Radicalism dan Lembaga Pendidikan Islam menguak fenomena radikalisasi non kekerasan di lembaga pendidikan Islam swasta di Indonesia.
Yang pertama adalah
ini berangkat dari
Khalifah sebagai basis tanggung jawab
Ya,
lingkungan gitu.
radikalisme ini
Nah, sudah
memang sampai
disebutkan
sekarang
di dalam
akan terus
Al-Baqarah
menjadi
ayat
tantangan
30.
kita, di mana perkembangannya sudah mulai ada perubahan yang tadinya
Recording in
keras,
progress.
akhirnya kemudian berubah menjadi soft atau kita kenal dengan soft radikalism. Dan perkembangannya, penyebarannya juga yang tadinya mulai di mana di media sosial, kemudian sekarang sudah meranah kepada pendidikan, lembaga pendidikan, sehingga ini sejalan dengan beberapa penelitian yang menunjukkan bahwasanya memang radikalisme di Indonesia itu menyebar melalui beberapa aspek atau lembaga pendidikan. Dan ini kemudian menimbulkan beberapa dampak yang akhirnya soft radikalisme ini menimbulkan dampak yang menurut saya sangat berbahaya karena akhirnya mendorong sikap intolerans dan inklusif di kalangan siswa sehingga akhirnya berkontribusi adanya perpecahan sosial dan polarisasi agama. Kemudian penelitian ini menggunakan teori habitus, di mana yang dimaksud dengan habitus ini adalah kecenderungan yang tertanam dalam diri individu melalui pengalaman sosial dan lingkungan, di mana dalam dunia pendidikan bahwasanya habitus di dalam dapat dilihat bagaimana sebenarnya kerangka kerja yang terinternalisasi yang membentuk bagaimana sebenarnya siswa itu memandang dan berinteraksi beraksi terhadap lingkungan pendidikan sehingga mereka itu istilahnya ketika kita melihat bahwasanya mereka seakan-akan tertanam secara ideologinya kemudian tertanam, sehingga penelitian ini menggunakan rumusan masalahnya melihat bagaimana sebenarnya habitus lingkungan pendidikan membantu dan memproduksi pola pikir radikal secara halus melalui interaksi sosial, kurikulum tersembunyi dan praktek keseharian di sekolah. Penelitian ini menggunakan kualitatif sehingga kita langsung datanya langsung kepada sekolah yang memang kita anggap itu memiliki atau menerapkan ideologi radikal itu. Dan kita melihat itu ada pola-pola yang kayak yang saya lihat di situ, ada elemen-elemen habitus yang memang secara sistematis membentuk pola pikir atau perilaku radikal tanpa kekerasan ini. Dan itu ada 3 elemen yang menjadi tolak ukur dalam penelitian ini adalah yang pertama adalah interaksi sosial yang inklusif, yang kedua adalah kurikulum tersembunyi, yang ketiga adalah praktek keseharian di sekolah. Interaksi sosial di sini interaksi sosial inklusif ini contohnya misalnya seperti tata ruang, lokasi, kultur sekolah yang memang sangat eksklusif sehingga yang tertarik masuk ke lembaga itu adalah hanya mereka yang memiliki ideologi yang sama atau setidaknya mereka itu setuju dengan ideologi yang menjadi landasan di sekolah itu, sehingga eksklusivitas ini menciptakan interaksi antara individu itu berpikiran sama sehingga memperkuat bahwasanya internalisasi ideologi radikal itu tanpa ada ruang perbedaan atau enggak menerima perbedaan pendapat yang lain. Yang kedua adalah kita melihat dari kurikulumnya yang tersembunyi. Jadi saya melihat bahwasanya di situ ada kurikulum formal. Memang secara eksplisit tidak mendukung radikalisme, tetapi konten yang tersembunyi itu mendorong siswa untuk mengadopsi paham-paham seperti paham Wahabi. Kemudian buku-buku referensinya mereka juga digunakan dalam proses pembelajaran, seringkali merujuk kepada tokoh-tokoh yang berpandangan ekstremis. Dan akhirnya